Notary services are available and copies can always be made. Wildlife services, hunting and fishing licenses, boat registrations, and boat title work is also available. Visit the Spring Hope License Plate Agency on Ash Street 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Once again, tonight's meeting is sponsored by the Spring Hope License Plate Agency.
Already open, we listen to the attorney first, man. Closed session. Don't do it to me.
Alan, did you have the extra room that I seen with you?
Oh.
It's about one.
Oh, that's, I think this is.
Yeah, he probably.
I thought that was mine. I thought I picked it up at the house side. Looks like mine.
We got a public hearing portion tonight, and this is for the request from the Bailey Chamber. It should, let me play it just to make sure. From the Bailey Chamber of Commerce and from the local churches in Bailey. I don't think she's here, but Tammy, if they have any questions, could you just come side forward? She said she was gonna come tonight, I can't call her name. Cynthia, that's it. But what they are requesting is on Easter Sunday, this is a tradition in Bailey, when she was telling me that they have been doing for years, and they just need a temporary zoning permit to do this. They have a Sunday morning sunrise service. They have a Sunday morning sunrise service between 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. on Easter Sunday morning. The summary issue was the Bailey Chamber of Commerce, along with the Bailey United Methodist Church, the Bailey Church of God, and the Bailey Baptist Church, is requesting a roll closure for the purpose of the sunrise on Main Street Easter service. I don't think this, is that the new time they're going with?
Yes.
Sunrise on Main Street Easter Sunday. The churches in the chamber have coordinated with Chief Callahan in the past to have cones out on that little section between Vincent and Jackson. Pretty much from where the washerette set to where Cecil's lot at, where we have the Christmas tree lighting, that little area right there, is where they have it at. They have already talked with DOT, business is not a non-DOT trucking route, they don't have to notify them. Bailey Chamber of Commerce saying the church will be able to set up cones at Chief Callahan, when those sheriffs can be there to do it. They already have cones, they said they can set the cones up and put them out for the service. Staff recommends allowing the road closure during the planned event hours range from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. They'll pretty much be done. And staff recommends having the cones placed out at the corners of Jackson Street and Mid Street for safety. The chamber's already said they will be able to do that. They don't have a problem meeting that. And staff recommends issuing temporary zoning permit for this event at no cost due to the event coordination or nonprofit being that it is for the churches. I think the chamber just kind of is the one that, if I'm right, chamber, the church is sponsor it, but the chamber just puts their name on just to kind of get more.
But the chamber is also a non-profit, Sean, so
that works out even better. This is how it will be. If you look at the map right here, this is the area that they're looking at. And this is it. If anybody has any questions, we got Tammy here that can represent Cynthia tonight on behalf of the chamber to answer questions. If not, we can vote to go ahead and issue the temporary zoning permit for the Easter main service. It's a tradition in Bailey. That's what we're. If the board has any questions, either me and Tammy can try the best to answer, or either we can table it and have a special meeting in April if we need to, for Cynthia to be here to answer those questions.
You just need somebody to make a motion, right?
Yes, sir, just for temporary zoning permit, and they're gonna close the road for 6:30, 9:30. I don't think that'll be a problem, because on Sunday morning, I've been through during that time frame, nothing's really coming through Main Street that much on Sunday morning, especially on the east side thing.
It actually ends prior to 9:30, so that would give plenty of cushion if it was closed until 9:30. They do set up speakers, do music, you know, service, allow people to sit out, and, several of the local churches had said that they wanted to be involved, so.
I make the motion, the town give, for sunrise service a special permit.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
I will let the chamber, if you can let Cynthia know, they can pick the permit up and we'll get set. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're gonna start this meeting. We've already opened it up. We went into closed session. Back here, we're open again. Had a public hearing. First of all, the minutes for February, they're not ready yet. Jeremy said he didn't have time to get them ready to go on Friday. I need, approval on the financial statements from February 2022.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for February 2022.
Yeah, minutes aren't ready.
I'm sorry, financial statements for February 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right. Walter Wells, planning board, got anything? No?
It'll be brief. We did meet this month. Tony Stone actually came in front of us. He's got I'll call it a subdivision, but he's got a number of lots on the outskirts of town in the EPJ, that he is dividing out and going to be building on it. You'll be glad to hear it is R40 zoning. It's not R20 stuff, so it's R40 zoning. So it's normal zoning for the county. And it was approximately 9.
It's 9 in town, 2 in the county.
Yeah.
9 in the ETJ, 2 in the county.
Yeah, but all of them are gonna be acre lots or better, so, so we did meet with him and approve that. We also, I know, Josh Pearson's got, an addition he wants to be doing on his facility down here. Of course, as always, when you're building in town, the main holdback sewer. So he's having to look at whether he can do a small septic for a bathroom in the addition, or, I say bathroom, but it's not just a laboratory toilet type thing. But once he gets that worked out, I guess he'll get started on it. The only other thing I was gonna bring up, we approved a conditional use permit, for the leaning tree. They're now operating, it's basically the same, guidelines and restrictions that were placed on it from Ricky and Sue Wilson were running it. And because it's in a residential area, just trying to protect the residents and just make sure they're not inundated. The town did issue a special permit for the festival this past weekend, and I did happen to ride by it at one point in time. The only thing I will caution the town on, I spoke to Ryan briefly just a minute ago too, but when you issue the special permits, if there's things you want to make sure that anybody's adhering to, you need to have it in those permits, because it's different than the conditional use permit that they're operating under. And in ours, they're not supposed to have anything outside. Everything's going to be, when Ricky had it, everything was inside the walls when he had outside events. But they had a tent set up right next to 264 alternate, and you just think about traffic flow and people stepping out, you don't know. It's a fairly busy road, so I would just caution when you look at those, where the town has some policy that's put in place for these permits, so that you make sure if there's any conditions you want to place on it, or if you want to make sure they have liability insurance, etc. Because if something were to happen, you want to make sure the town's not in a position to be included in any legal action there. So just wanted to bring that to your attention too.
You said the tent was set up at 264?
264 alternate.
Oh, okay.
On Dean Street.
Okay.
Yeah. Right across from the post office. It was fairly close. It was really close to the road the tent they had set up. And so that's all I had. Sean's got anything else to add?
Not enough for us planning board side, I think we covered everything.
Okay. Thank you, Walter. Tammy, you got anything from the chamber you represent?
I do,
Thank you.
but I'll be really quick, I promise. We just talked about the sunrise service that's planned for the month of April. Sweet Potato Festival is planned for the month of May, and it's coming together beautifully. We've had so much interest and support. I guess I should bring up the estimate that I had emailed the board. I don't know if y'all were discussing that later, but I'll ask you now. The chamber is asking the town of Bailey to help us make this empty lot, look nice. We would like to use it not only for the festival, but also for events going forward. And we feel for a small amount of money, we can make it look really nice. We can use it. It'll be an asset, not an eyesore. So I had submitted to you an estimate for electric service so that we can string some really pretty lights and it'll be safe. Everybody will be able to see where they're stepping. The amount of that estimate was $1,210, and Progress Energy has come out and spotted that service for us. So if the board will approve that tonight, then we can go ahead and move forward. I also would like to ask you to consider some landscaping, so that if we have rain, we don't have to deal with a muddy mess. I have an estimate from Rob Glover, where he'll come out and fix the dirt part of it so that we're stepping on a solid clay surface instead of having the dirt wash away. And also we reached out to a couple of people to give us an estimate on sod covering that area. So if I could give this to Melissa,
I can make a copy and
it's
give it to you.
$4,200, and this is just for the dirt part of it, $4,200. If we don't do it prior to the festival, and we can make it through the festival without this, but if we don't do it, I would love to see the board, agree to go ahead and let's make that lot look nice, so that we can use it for, that'd be great. Other than that, we're all situated. We do have, the chamber does a, scholarship every year, $1,000 scholarship, and the application deadline is drawing near on that. So we have, an applicant so far, and we'll be awarding that $1,000 scholarship in May, and we're excited to be able to do that. So, we don't just ask people to give us money, we also try to give some back to the community. So, everything looking good for chamber. Y'all have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn?
Good evening. Main thing is, did y'all get a copy of the report? You did? Okay. All right. There was a, DWQ did an inspection of the wells this, past month. The inspection went pretty well. They only had a few things that were some issues. Insulation at well 1, it's kind of falling down stuff from the park. Said we need to get some proper insulation in there. And the lights and ventilation at well 2, I think ventilation's already been corrected. Need to get the lights corrected. Then, of course, they said something about the well not operating because of power situation, but that has been resolved as well. Duke Energy took care of that. We had a issue with the Reed Street lift station. The pipe in it was metal pipe in it, and it stays underwater, and it just rusted and came apart. We did have to, first day when the alarm went off, the high level was up. Our truck was not available to pump it down, so we got Bell's Septic to come in and pump it down one day, and we pumped it down 3 or 4 more times until we get somebody here to take care of it. They came in, took care of that. The pressure issue on Dean Street, 5389, where we've had the complaints about the low pressure there. We went out and did another pressure test there. Me and Commissioner Daniels was there as well. And at the meter, we had around 40 psi pressure, and it would flow 20 gallons in a minute. At the house, it was only flowing 5 gallons a minute. The state minimum requirement to have flow at your house is 0.56 gallons per minute, so it far exceeds the state minimum requirement there. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we even know how many more agendas? Never? And the board? You can answer it.
Okay, now we're gonna open up for public speaking. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. If you're a group, you can only have one spokesperson. Tonight we have 2 speakers. Cecil Holly, Marvin Perry.
Wow.
You're first. Come on.
Me?
Yep, 3
Oh,
minutes.
3
Your
minutes.
name's on
What? Well, I don't have no agenda, I don't know what's going on.
Well,
I don't
just
know
read it
how
to
you
me.
remember it. I'll go in order. Cecil Hawley, glad Mr. Ron King is here, because I got a question that maybe he can answer. When we do planning board, meetings, and we do board of adjustment meetings, I always understood when that board of adjustment met, that whatever they decided was, that's the way it's supposed to be. But who enforces that? The mayor? The commissioners? Nobody? I mean, we issue permits. And when they did board of adjustments, not me, because I refused. But the Lemon Tree is someone supposed to park 2 cars in handicap places on Nash Street. Now, the last Sunday in February, I think it was the 27th at 3 o'clock, I was over there taking pictures because they were blocking one lane of Nash Street. So I didn't do the camera perfect the first time, so I turned around and come back and doing the camera again. So one of the Lemon Tree employees, one of the servers, followed me down to my office and got out and said, his camera's filming me. He said he knows I am the source of all their problems. Anything that's going on bad at the Leaning Tree restaurant is caused by me. Well, I mean, who enforces it? Nobody. There's no parking signs all down that street. When Ricky and Mary Sue was doing it, it was never that problem. Never. But now they're parking, I mean, they're blocking. Of course, the boy did tell me when he came and was threatening me down there that it was raining and their customers didn't want to get wet. So does nobody enforce it?
We have police here, but I mean.
Maybe
Yeah,
not on that day.
Yeah, well then, if they weren't.
Then
here,
nobody
then-
does anything?
Well, we'd hope that it happens, you know, but
Okay.
I'm sorry it didn't happen that instant. I mean.
Yeah, well, he didn't come down, he just verbally threatened me. I mean, he was just hooting and hollering and trying to film me. I didn't say anything to him. I just walked on back into my office because I was down at the car lot. He was just having, I mean, I'm not the source of their trouble. They didn't do correct in what they did, and that's not my fault. But if they wanna blame me for it, they accuse me of having a fake Facebook page, I'm bad mouthing them, and I don't have no fake Facebook page. If I'm gonna say anything, I'll say it right here, or I'll say it to them in person. But then on this zoning stuff that we have, like the little house you guys talked about in closed session down here, that's been going on for 3 years. The stockade fence over on Elm Street, do you know about that at all? There's a 6-foot stockade fence, they've added a front porch, they've added a building in the yard. That's totally against all our zoning stuff.
Yeah,
What, my 3 minutes?
Yeah, so.
No, I'm just saying, 3
Oh,
minutes
it's
up,
up.
Bill. Oh, you can't do that to me. Alright, I'll have to shut up.
We'll have to look into it. I mean, Sean's been, it's been brought up.
It's only been going on a little over a year. The house been here's up 3 years, so I wouldn't think about, we shouldn't get in a hurry on it, close.
And on behalf of the Leaning Tree, I will say this so we won't have to beat a dead horse. They sent me a picture today, they have put a sign up on the back building that says no parking in the alleyway or in here. He sent me that before town hall, so he's trying his best to comply with parking, let his patrons know not to park in those areas.
Okay.
And I've talked to the owner.
That sign was up for the
I haven't seen
festival.
any instances since.
Okay,
I've talked to them, so.
well, thank y'all. Maybe that's a reasonable solution.
Thank you.
We'll work on the fence. I'm sorry, Cecil, the fence.
Oh,
We'll
I'm
work on
sorry.
it. All right,
You're the big mayor, you're supposed to enforce everything.
Cecil, I can't do it so much.
I know,
It's a fence.
I know.
Marvin Perry?
Yeah, God let Cecil speak for me.
Sir?
God let Cecil speak for me, I ain't good at speaking.
I reckon, yeah, you could be the group leader, yeah.
Oh, I could be the group leader.
You got 3 minutes.
I could be the mayor number 2.
I wish you would have been.
No, man, you better call it money.
No, you're ready.
Cecil Hawley, talking about the, little house on Main Street again. We came down there yesterday, me and Alan and Marvin and Walter. We pulled a string, and you all probably know this, but we pulled a string from the existing iron pipe from years ago that the survey people dug up. The footing for the foundation is probably 8 and some inches over on one end and 5 and some inches over on the other end. The front corner of the house makes the masonry string bend. That's probably, yeah, don't be been going on for 3 years. The town's issued all kinds of permits. The county's been down there and said, I've talked to Chris at the place, I've also talked to Kevin. Kevin said when they built the foundation around the old house, he came over there and had Duke Fire remove the wiring to the house so they wouldn't have any power. I talked to Chris the last time he stopped work, he said they were told not to put siding on the house, not to put wiring in the house, not to put plumbing in the house. They've done all 3. She went and had an architect design and draw a house plan to be put anywhere. It's not a plan for Bailey, it's not a site plan, it's just a generic plan to be put anywhere. I mean, she had an original permit to only replace the roof. I don't know what you guys decided in closed session, I guess you would tell us after a while maybe. Tonight, maybe. But,
We didn't decide anything.
what?
I don't think we decided anything.
Oh, I wasn't in closed session, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. We didn't decide anything.
Oh, okay, well, I thought maybe y'all were gonna try to put it off on Marvin, that it's his responsibility, but I mean, if you go inside this building, you'll see water coming down the walls, the floors is messed up from her building, throwing water on there. Nobody required her to do a site plan or anything like you're supposed to do when you do a permit to build a house anywhere. All that was supposed to be turned in to Nash County. I don't think the footing or the foundation or any of that stuff probably ever been approved. So, I mean, by anybody. So, what do you guys suggest? Mr. Mayor? What do you want to do?
Well, we got in the hands of attorney, and
Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good to me. Let's
but
talk about
clear,
that.
how many permits have we issued on that total?
Not many.
We have only
Just
three
issued another one.
zoning permits.
And
Can
you
you
explain
just
what
go over
all?
one?
Can he talk?
Sure.
Okay.
I thought I had my 3 minutes.
It's up.
Oh, it is?
When
I
he's
need
trying to
sit
talk.
down?
Yeah.
I mean, y'all need to be honest with it. I mean, you sit here and you gonna tell the man what was said to me.
It's
You
closed
need-
session.
Yeah, I know, you need to be honest with me.
I said we didn't decide anything. We didn't.
Well, you did decide something, you need to be
And I'm
honest.
talking for the owner of the building. I'm speaking for the owner
understand
of
that.
the building. So, I mean, it's been going on for 3 years.
It's going on 4 years.
Well, you keep issuing permits, and she comes to the planning board and board of adjustment, and, I mean, I was here at the planning board meetings. And all was, I mean, it went on for an hour, but nothing was said except, you know, she needed to clean the trash up and do something to make it look more presentable, I guess, but there's still,
Okay.
oh, so I need to sit on your what?
Yeah. I was hoping that he could explain the permits that we did, but
Okay.
we got off track. So.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll listen.
We've done 3 permits, one was done prior before I got here, one was done when I got here, we just issued a new one now with the conditions that we came up with that night, that we thought was best for her.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go over the conditions that we put on it? I've explained to Mr. Perry, but I can read out loud for the benefit of the
But
town.
please do that.
Okay.
That would help.
For the
Okay.
benefit of the town,
Yeah, you-
the conditions that we put on it were the only ones who would be any encroachment of the property and the neighbor property 6297 Main Street. And pretty much that's what we shown y'all in closed session, where it's encroachment of the roof. Before any,
The foundation and the, footing, all that's over. It's not just the roof.
Let me see what time to first one.
Okay, cause I'm an engineer from a long time ago, I did this, that survey doesn't show anything on that building.
Yes, sir. Second condition was, before any other completion of work can be started, the encroachment of the home roof pitch must be in compliance with the town's zoning ordinance and blueprint plans that were issued by the owner engineer firm representative. Number three, the owner must finish construction of the dwelling according to the new updated blueprints and plans completed by RHP Design Planning Graphics, Jared K. Medina, engineer. The owner is aware that since his dwelling is built on a zero side setback line, they must obtain permission by the adjoining neighbor to go on the side of the property located next to 6297 Main Street of the property. The owner needs to be aware before installation of gutters on the side of that property neighboring 6297 Main Street, they will require to have permission from the adjoining property owner before the installation can begin. The owner is aware that this new updated plan must be reviewed and approved by Nash County Building Inspections. Then we have in the bottom paragraph, it's pretty much what our zoning ordinance says, if scope of work changes, the owner is aware the zoning permit will be voided. If no work is started within 6 month period of September 2nd, 2022, of issuing the zoning permit, this permit will be voided. If work is not completed by March 2nd, 2023, the owner will need to come in and reapply for a new zoning permit with the town of Bailey. The owner needs to be aware that the town of Bailey will not let Nash County Building Inspection issue the certificate of occupancy if the encroachment has not been removed. To meet the standards of the engineer's plan in the town of Bailey zoning ordinance, if the encroachment is not removed, it will lead to the town of Bailey voiding the zoning permit. If the owner has any questions, please contact our office at 252-235-4977.
So you don't have a house on the site plan. That house was done first. You don't have a site plan. So the footing is over.
Okay,
From
so
corner-
your 3 minutes
Just get a
up.
survey and prove that it's not, okay?
Yeah,
That's the easiest thing to
Your
do.
time is up. I mean, we got
Thank
to,
you,
you got
thank
to.
you. That's all right.
Just get a survey and prove that it's not, please.
Can I say one thing?
Well, Cecil was your spoken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get with you after this meeting's over if you wanna meet. I mean, we gotta keep this going.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. I think y'all use me for a scapegoat.
Okay, thank you. Alright, next moving into old business. Y'all got anything for old business? Yes, sir. Yeah. Alright, next I've got some, in new business, I got some stuff from the COG here. This is, the ARPA earmark funding that needs to be placed on the agenda. So, funding offered and acceptance document, standard assurances, resolution accepting the funds, sales tax certification. So I gotta start reading. Standard conditions. Acceptance of this funding does not exempt the recipient from complying with the requirements stated in the U.S. Treasury's final rule for the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds and SLFRF compliance and reporting guidance, not explicitly referred to in this document any future requirements implemented by the U.S. Treasury. Acquisition of real property must comply with all applicable provisions of Uniform Relocation and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. The applicant shall certify that it has or will have a fee simple or such other estate or interest in the site of the project, including necessary easements and rights of way to assure undisturbed use and possession for the purpose of construction and operation for the estimated life of the project using the certification form provided by DEQ. Specific MBE, WBE, DBE forms and instructions are provided that are to be included in the contract specifications. These forms will assist with documenting positive efforts made by the recipients, their consultants and contractors to utilize disadvantaged business enterprises. Such efforts should allow DBEs the maximum feasible opportunity to compete for sub-agreements and subcontracts to be performed. Documentation of efforts made to utilize DBE firms must be maintained by all recipients and construction contractors and made available upon request. Subrecipients shall fully comply with subpart C of CFR Part 180 entitled Responsibilities of Participants regarding transactions doing business with other persons as implemented and supplemented by 2 CFR Part 1532. The recipient is responsible for ensuring that any lower tier covered transaction as described in subpart B of 2 CFR Part 180 covered transactions includes a term or condition requiring compliance with subpart C. Recipient is responsible for further requiring the inclusion of a similar term or condition in any subsequent lower tier covered transactions. Recipients, may access suspension and debarment information at www.sam.gov. This system allows subrecipients to perform searches determining whether an entity or individual is excluded from receiving federal assistance. Projects with a cost of $10 million or more must meet U.S. Treasury requirements for prevailing wage rates, project labor rates, and related requirements. Recipients can either certify meeting the requirements or provide plans and reports at the SLFRF compliance and reporting guidance specifies. The Uniform Guidance CFR through CFR gives minimum requirements for procurement through 2 CFR 200.319 addressing engineering services for procurement guidelines. ARPA funded projects must also adhere to state of North Carolina law, specifically North Carolina General Statute 143-64.31, Article 3D procurement of architectural, engineering, and surveying services. North Carolina General Statute 143-64.32 cannot be used to exempt funding recipients from a qualification-based solution for aid. The state provides applicable certification forms that must be completed prior to receiving funds for any engineering services covered under this funding offer. Local government units designated as distressed must complete associated requirements of state statute 159G-45. Funds made available by ARPA that are not dispersed to the entity accepting the funds in this document December 31st, 2026 will no longer be available for the project. Unused funds will revert from the state of North Carolina to the U.S. Treasury. Assurances. The applicant intends to construct the project or cause it to be constructed by final completion in accordance with the application approved for financial assistance by the division. The applicant is responsible for paying for the cost and eligible for ARPA funding. The construction of the project, including the letting of contracts and the connection therewith, conforms to the applicable requirements of state and local laws and ordinances. The applicant will provide and maintain adequate engineering supervision and inspection. The recipient agrees to establish and maintain a fiscal management system that adequately accounts for revenues and expenditures. Adequate accounting and fiscal records will be maintained during the construction of the project, and these records will be retained and made available for a period of at least 3 years following completion of the project. All ARPA funds shall be expended solely for carrying out the approved project. An audit shall be performed in accordance with GS 159-34. Partial disbursements on this loan will be made promptly upon the request, subject to adequate documentation of incurred eligible costs and subject to the recipient's compliance with the standard conditions of this award. The applicant agrees to make prompt payment to its contractor and to retain only such amount as allowed by North Carolina General Statute. The applicant will spend all of the requisition funds for the purpose of paying the cost of this project within 3 banking days following receipts of the fund from the state. Please note that the state is not a party to the construction contracts, and the application is expected to uphold its contract obligations regarding timely payment. Funds must be fully spent, i.e. fully reimbursed to the recipient by December 31st, 2026. The applicant hereby gives assurance to the Department of Environmental Quality and that the declarations, assurances, representations, and statements made by the applicant in the application and all the documents, amendments, communication filed with the Department of Environmental Quality by the applicant in support of its request for financial assistance will be fulfilled. All right. To all loan grants to all loan and grant recipients. Federal ID number. Please be advised that the local government unit receiving grant or loan funds from the state of North Carolina must supply the federal identification number to this office upon acceptance of your loan grant offer. Therefore, please provide the information below in return. Alright, so we're good. This is another form here saying sales tax is deducted as a scenario. If the applicant is not a unit of government under North Carolina law, which we are, so the construction contract was billed with sales tax, and the unit of government will request reimbursement from DOR. Sales tax is not deducted in either of these scenarios. The construction contract was billed with the sales tax, and the unit of government will not request reimbursement from Department of Revenue. The contract construction was billed without sales tax. Okay, so here's the resolution and body, two of them. Town of Bailey's received the earmark for the ARPA funded state fiscal recovery fund established SL 2021-180 to assist eligible units of government with meeting their water, wastewater infrastructure needs, and whereas North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality has offered American Rescue Plan funding in the amount of $5 million to perform work detailed in supplemental application. Whereas the town of Bailey intends to perform said project in accordance with agreed scope of work. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the town of Bailey that the town of Bailey does hereby accept the American Rescue Plan grant offer of $5 million. That the town of Bailey does hereby give assurance to North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality that any conditions and assurances contained in the award offer will be adhered to. That Thomas Richards, Mayor, and successor so titled is hereby authorized and directed to furnish such information as the appropriate state agency may request in connection with this project, to make the assurances as contained above, and to execute such other documents as may be required by the Division of Water Infrastructure, adopted this 21st day of March 2022, Town of Bailey, North Carolina. I'm gonna read this last one, then we can vote on, unless y'all wanna vote on one at a time. Would y'all like to vote on this first one, to accept the money, and then put it all?
Can we do it all at once?
Yeah, we should. I'll tell you what, Resolution selecting 2020 sanitary sewer collection lines, project engineer, Town of Bailey, grant CS 370. Oh, this is something totally separate. Yeah, this is the one on the bids. I'll read it to you when I put it up. Funding officer, we will accept the resolution for the funding offer and acceptance document, standard assurances, resolution accepting the funds, and sales tax certification. If you just want to read them 4 bullets right there, that's how we're going to accept it. Or you make a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the funding offer and acceptance document, standard assurances, resolution accepting the funds, and the sales tax certification.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, this is the next one. This project right here is for the $1.5 million we got already, the first grant, and they put it out for bid. And I just need to read about who. It just tells you who has bid on it. So resolution selecting 2020 sanitary sewer collection line, project engineer, Town of Bailey, grant CS 370-696-03. Whereas the Town of Bailey has applied for funds for its 2020 sanitary sewer collection line project, and whereas the Town of Bailey has received notification from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality that the town has awarded 2020 clean water sewer funds, and whereas the Town of Bailey is procuring professional services in accordance with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, and whereas the Town of Bailey has advertised for proposals on 2 occasions and has, as far as it is known, receiving only one proposal from a qualified firm, McDavid and Associates, to provide professional engineering services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Bailey that the Town of Bailey selects McDavid Associates, Inc. to provide engineering services as outlined in the proposal, subject to successful negotiation of a fixed fee of cost of service, and that Mayor Pro Tem and the Mayor and Chief Financial Officer are hereby authorized to enter into negotiations with David and Associates, Inc. to cause and execute a professional services contract based on a lump sum fee for professional services as approved and funded by the Clean Water Sewer Resource Fund loan award. Adopted this 21st day of March 2022 at Bailey, North Carolina.
Means they've already put the bids up,
They put the bids out for the first grant,
and they only have
for the
one bid.
engineer, for the engineering firm.
Okay.
So I need somebody to make a motion to accept me, David and Associates as our, here you go, you just read it right here. Yep. That part right there.
I make a motion that the town selects me David Associates to provide engineering services as outlined in their proposal, subject to the successful negotiations of a fixed fee cost of service.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I do.
Motion carried.
This fellow that was here the last time, the older fellow, and his outfit is responsible for seeing this all the way through,
Yes,
start to finish.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Joe Dooley.
Anybody else got any new business? Kathy, you got anything? Chief, please? Excuse me, Chief.
For the month of February, we had 13 calls for service, 95 business escorts, 90 business contacts, and 126 business checks. 36 felonies and 20 misdemeanor charges have been filed on 3 juveniles. An original hire from August has now been certified and is now working. February's hire should be sworn this week. There'll be 2 more applicants for the board to interview in April who I'm recruiting, who I've previously worked with. And another one should be out of BLE2 by May. We received a speed bump and it wasn't able to be, permanently secured, so, or even secured, and, but we've had it in place for a week now and it hasn't moved, so,
Use the stakes, right?
Pardon?
Did you use the stakes?
No, it was too, short for the stakes. It didn't cover the entire length of the street.
Oh.
But that was donated by the, highway safety program, so I'm gonna see if they have any additional free ones, and if not, just purchase a longer one that we can use the stakes for, and that'd probably be about $200 for one. And that's it.
Thank you. Joey, got anything?
Is there any reason, why we wouldn't wanna go ahead and, vote on the electrical work at the lot as well as the landscaping? Anyone that would object to having both done? You can do it now or you can do it later, but it would probably be best to do it now since we have this event coming up. So, would there be any objections?
We still got $900 in that Main Street fund too, so that could go to one of the 2 of those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still in the.
So
they haven't took it
$1,200.
back. Yeah.
Right, still $110 for the electrical work, with some change,
1210 even, I believe.
okay, and then the landscaping is 4,200 even?
Whereas
And that was for the
he,
work on the soil work only, that did not include the sod work. Do you have any idea what that would be, Commissioner Daniels?
it ain't gonna be cheap, but it's like Adam said, and I talked to some other folks, you're gonna have problems if you don't do this landscaping work, or you put sod in.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're gonna have problems. That's why the dirt has to be removed, put some blade and get it back straight, you don't have a big deal.
So do we wanna get 3 quotes on that, or do we just,
I'm gonna tell you something, I've been running, he bought Harris Perry out, and he's the cheapest man out there, boss.
he's
He's been working for me for 4 weeks.
cheap but quality?
Quality. I mean,
Okay.
he is,
I'm too poor to pay for anything twice, and I'm sure the
well,
taxpayer
you
feels
know,
the
I'm
same
just
way.
saying, he bought Harris Perry out, so he's got Harris Perry's crew.
Okay.
And that's gonna be a 325 cat, ain't gonna be nothing small like we've been having, he's gonna have a big cat and it can move dirt pretty fast. Go to the cemetery, get the clay, dig the clay out, and then bring it, dump it, and then take this topsoil and put it back on top of it. Like we should've done to start with, but we didn't do that.
And,
This is only in the front, you know, so we get the front straight.
between the 2 buildings?
Yes.
Okay. What's the address of that lot?
6217, I believe.
No, that's town.
Okay,
Oh,
6270 maybe, I don't know, I just gave it to somebody, sorry.
Gotta be,
I can't even get it up.
It's 6 something, and it's Main Street, I do know that.
I'll just,
it's actually on by town too.
Yeah.
I used to know it by heart.
Commissioner Daniels, if they, do the work to the soil and then they put the sod down, they are certain that 60 days from today, we'll be able to walk on it, is that correct?
The sod man told me that I talked to, he said he put, it's like, I don't know, 500 something on a pallet. They come in, and of course the dirt already, he'll cut the top grass off, then he'll lay, I guess, yeah, he'll lay that down. He said within 2 to 3 weeks, it'll be where you can walk on it, no problems, once he lays it. This, all this, what this guy does, he's not a young boy, I talked to him, you know, she asked me about it, and I was trying to get, but, you know, if you get top notch, they cut grass, but they ain't got what y'all call sod laying machines, you know, these guys, this is all they do. And like I said, we'll work on getting 3 quotes. And I think it's the best way to go, if you're gonna
Just
use
say
it.
town's empty lot over there, big time.
okay,
They'll know we got one lot on Main Street that's gonna be resold.
okay.
This says 6271 Main Street.
That's what it is.
6271?
6271 Main Street.
I had the numbers right, I just had them in the wrong order.
Yeah. And the name of the company again, that would do the sod? I'm sorry.
We haven't got that, we haven't got that far. I mean, I've talked to a few of them, I've talked to some guys that I know, but we haven't got, you know, she asked me about it. I know Adam, it said he's gonna do a quote, and then,
So my motion will just
it'll just be that.
sod.
No, the sod will be probably next month.
Okay.
The sod's gonna be about $10,000, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, but if you wanna make it nice, you need to spend the money, you need to get it and get it done and just do it right.
Yeah. Well, can we get some, since we have 30 days now, can we get some quotes
On what?
on the sod?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some.
Okay, okay.
Right now,
It sounded first like the
right
person
now,
I go with one
you know, right
person.
now, I was just trying to help her, cause she said something about the electrical, and then she talked about this, and I said, well, before you do that, we gotta get the front straight. And then, once we get the front straight, then we can get the sod man over here and get the quotes, and we'll have quotes next month on the sod.
Okay.
But first of all, I need to get the dirt fixed. And it's hard to get an excavator, man, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And that electrical quote is from who?
Thorns Electric. And I'll be honest with you, Commissioner Killian, is the only electrician we could get to give us a quote. We reached out to 4 or 5 people.
I understand. And the landscaping is gonna be done by who?
Rob Glover, I don't know what the name is, Glover.
It's not Harris Perry, it's not Perry's, but it's just Rob Glover Farming.
Rob Glover Farming.
Okay, I'm gonna make one motion then for both of these, is that okay? Any objections to that? Alright, I make a motion that we approve the electrical work on the town's open lot on Main Street for $1,210 done by Thorns Electric, and that we approve the landscaping done by Rob Glover Farming for $4,200.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods,
Mm-hmm.
got anything?
We got a ABC thing we need to go on tonight.
ABC, okay. That's fine, that's,
Okay.
I didn't know.
It's all right.
The one on my agenda.
We got you. We got you. Commissioner Tackett, he had that, TV, but probably wouldn't get finished. On Sunday night, we'll do this one first. It is the ABC permit. The owners of El Paso Restaurant has asked could they get voted on tonight for their restaurant. Unfortunately, they could not be here because the restaurant has to be open, they have to work. But Mr. Cecil Hawley said he would step in if we had any questions that he could handle, and they did authorize him to be the spokesperson we needed. Pretty much as I spoke with them, they requested ABC permit for 6193 Dean Street. And after looking at the parcel, it's in the TC district. They've already done a zoning permit on file when they need to remodel. And they've already allowed use for what they're doing with restaurant in the Townsend district. So the only thing that we need tonight is the vote from you guys to fill out the paperwork that we did for the Lindy Tree and the other two, and Jonathan, which is the local government opinion that Chief Callahan has to sign, and the inspection zone compliance form that I have to sign, they have to take a ride to the building inspector and fire inspector before they get the license. If you have any questions before we vote, Cecil will be glad, Mr. Hall will be glad to, answer them for behalf of El Paso. If not, we can go straight into vote for it.
I can make the motion,
Yes, sir.
but if you could,
We
I
just
mean,
need
my
a
spread,
motion,
I
need a
wanna make it
motion
right.
to, approve the ABC local government opinion permits.
Make a motion that we accept the ABC local government opinion for alcoholic beverages permits.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Anything else we have, the zone is just the updates. 26 junk vehicles were tagged over the weekend, over the past 2 weekends at 2 car lots on Dean Street. And 2 code enforcement was signed up for cleaning up at both those, lots coming into town. The owner to the one of the left going towards Peter Whitman from the old J&M Chevrolet has called, he's gonna move some things around, clean it up. I've also talked with him about installing a 6-foot privacy fence from the side of the property going towards the bridge to kind of block it out of sight. He said he don't have a problem doing that. I have not heard from the owner at Kadeema's yet. Kadeema's house, he has not reached out to us yet. We have another code enforcement cleanup case for a property on Dean Street. And the owner intends for both of them have to March 26th to get everything up to code. If not, we'll send them another letter. If not, we can vote recommendation not to have things to do, we're gonna do fines. Zoning violations, there's a abandoned house out in ETJ that we're gonna have a meeting with, myself, the zoning commissioner, the chairperson, planning board, next town hall meeting, we'll be here at 6 o'clock for 128870 Mill Street, just talk to them about what they plan on doing with the house. We also have 2 properties in the downtown that the zoning commissioner, Mr. Powell, and the planning board chairperson will be meeting at 6 o'clock with Kenny Biss's property and Victoria Rodriguez property right here in downtown about what they're gonna do with it. Item was on the list for the old project.
I need to talk to you about this business now.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay. Ike was on the list for his property next to the old grocery store, but if you guys are not aware, it has been sold as of last week. And the owner's already in the process of getting the change of use and getting everything going on there. And we have 2 public hearings next month. I don't know if we wanna start at 6:30. If we get, I believe we can, if I still done it, we'll start at 6 with the zoning commissioner, Walter, chairperson planning board. If you guys wanna start at 6:30, cause we have a rezone, Chubby's at 6437 Pine Street, they wanna rezone that from traditional residential to outline a commercial to open up their restaurant, so they'll have to get a special use permit. And we got the public hearing next month for the sweet potato festival with the chamber. We wanna go ahead and get that taken care of, so when May comes in, all they have to do is get a temporary zoning permit and just keep going. So if you guys think it'd be best to meet at 6:30, we can, or if you wanna meet at 7, you both can at 7, it's up to you guys.
Y'all make a decision.
6 o'clock or
It
6:30?
don't matter really what day.
Well, I know
it is.
6 o'clock, we'll already be booked for, hearings,
So 6:30,
so we go 6:30.
that's fine.
And that's on, the 18th, right? Okay, I'll get it in the newspaper and get everything sent out to the adjoining properties, we'll be meeting at 6:30 for the public hearings.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
good? You got anything, Earl?
Yeah, I do. Going with the meeting we had before and the meeting we had earlier, I would like all this energy, all this negative energy, I would like the town to put to positive energy. You know, making Bailey better. You know, cause it still seems like, and I said it before when I came on board, if we could do the same thing for everybody, we'd never have a problem. But it seems like everybody just have their own personal agenda. And that's all I gotta say, Tom.
Alright. Thank you. Alan?
I've been working on some quotes for, I guess, closed cell phone for the well number 1. Also, I have to get some quotes for lighting well number 2. I have 2 things written up. And, well number 1, the walls are pretty bad. I mean, is there any, you guys want to work on getting the roof fixed on that right now? Leave that alone. They're in pretty bad shape. When you say it's bad. But if you just want to get the insulation to meet up the state code, that's fine. I mean, because the state's requiring us to do something in 180 days. We got about I don't know, we probably got about 120 left now. So I know I have to get it insulated. And then the third thing is, the brick, that's where we're going to do the sod and all that. I know, I think we met when the guy came down and looked at buying the brick. The guy out of Wilson, Mr. Folsom, he's talking about that was the interior brick, and he was right. The brick is, I guess when it rains, it takes water on, when it freezes, the bricks are popping off, and it has to be sealed. I don't know if y'all looked at it lately, but it's pretty bad where it's popping, and we're gonna have to seal that if we want to, for the wall not to look like that. So I don't know who wants to work on quotes for that. But that needs to be done. And I just got a question for, we said that one time about this $5 million that we were going, I'm all for one time going to Wilson. But with Wilson growing like they are, and they really growing out the code, and they're putting in more places, they said they got plenty of sewer captain built. Is it wise for us to keep thinking about this if the town of Middlesex wants a sewer plant and they want to get away from Raleigh? And I'm saying, I'm not for going for, what I really don't want the county to be in control of our sewer plant like they're in control of our recreation, department with, what's over there at the rec place. But it's something that we really need to slow down and think about. And I keep seeing papers, $5 million going to Wilson. And then we took a bid in here from a David. I didn't know we were re-bidding it out again. I thought they said it was 85%, complete. And the David's the one that came in here and recommended we need to pull all the fire hydrants out and that we need to close the sewer plant down. And I don't think we ever need to close the sewer plant down in case there's a hurricane, we don't have, power or something that happens. I'm just saying there's some things that we really need to think about, and I think there's decisions being made that's just not getting to the board, and I wish that we could have went with another firm or known about bids that we could have went with a guy out of New Bern or a guy out of Goldsboro. I think there's some other engineering firms besides Medega that we could have sat there and looked at, and we didn't have a choice. They just came back with one bid. One engineering firm. And I'm sorry if, to you, Irvin, that you think I got some negative energy. You probably pointing that at me, but it's just that fair is fair. And when a man sat there in his building, and it's obvious you pull a string and it's over, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. I remember that Becky sent a letter to me one time because I was within 5 feet of a storage building. She said I had 30 days to move. You know what? I had to pay $1,500 to move that building because the town sent me a letter. Town used to send letters like that one time. They don't know more. But at one time, you know, and that was my fault. I put the building, I had it too close to the line. I had to pay somebody to come move it. I moved it. Everything's fine. And it's just like like I told in the planning board meeting. When you do wrong, there's consequences for it. And somebody, you just can't babysit and keep babysitting people. I don't care if they understand English. I don't care who they are, what race they are. Equal is equal. And when you do wrong, it needs to be corrected. And I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame what I see here that, oh, we got to go by a survey map. When you sit there and see by the eye, and the man right there, you know, he's upset. I wouldn't want to be treated that way. You wouldn't want to be treated that way. And I really want to be part of a town board that wants to treat people right. And right now, I don't think Marvin's getting a fair shake. And there's some other things that, you know, you just can't keep putting a Band-Aid on something. You got to say this is enough and let the county take care of it, or whoever who take care of it. But the thing is, if the man has to go get a survey map, he needs to go get a survey map, that's fine. If he wants town, request town to do it, that's fine. But we need to stop Band-Aiding something and man up and do it like a man. And I really ain't in it. I've never been in to sit there and sit there and just give in and say, oh, we'll just let this go, let this slide, let that slide. Just go and be a man and just stand up. You know, when you're in business, man told me 2 weeks ago, he said, when you're in business, you got a threat of being sued all the time. And he's right. Every day I go to work, I have a threat of being sued. And just do what's right. And that's all I'm asking these town board members and the planning board to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. I don't have anything. I knew we need to go into closed session at this time.
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Tonight's meeting is sponsored by the Spring Hope License Plate Agency. The Spring Hope License Plate Agency is recently under new management and features short lines and a friendly staff. Dealer work is always welcome, notary services are available, and copies can always be made. Wildlife services, hunting and fishing licenses, boat registrations, and boat title work is also available. Visit the Spring Hope License Plate Agency on Ash Street 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Once again, tonight's meeting is sponsored by